What's going on, guys? Let's get everyone in here and then we'll get this thing started. Alrighty. Let's get in here. We'll get all the peeps in here. We got some stuff to talk about today. Fresh from training camp, fresh off of Santa Clara. Man, you're going to want to basically try and get as much insight as you possibly can about this situation. My boys, Jason Aponte and Jordan Elliott, are going to be on pretty soon right after this. You're going to want to hear what they have to say, what they watched. They did a great job charting. So make sure you hop on their stream right after this. But today was a day. Today was a day, guys. We got Pats today. I can't tell you how excited I was all day. Today was a vibe. I was literally on cloud nine, just watching trench play, watching the offensive line versus defensive line is pretty much what I paid attention to for the most part of today. Obviously, tried to sneak a peek at as many skill position players and try to get a little bit of everyone as much as possible. But today was exciting. Today was exciting because you got a glimpse of what the future is. You got a glimpse of what the future is. Trey Lance, with Brandon Ayuk, with George Kittle, with all these guys, it's pretty insane. It's pretty insane what was done today, but we're going to get into that later. We're going to get, again, you know the vibes. If you watch these lives and you want to talk about the quarterback, we don't talk about the quarterback until the very end. So we're going to get through all the other position groups first. We're going to, again, kind of do how we similarly have done things. We're going to go through the admin stuff first, and then we're going to get into all the things that stood out to me. So from an administrative standpoint, Deebo Samuel did not practice today. From everything that I've seen thus far, it first came out as if it was a maintenance day, but from what we're hearing, it sounds like he had some little knee tightness. So that's something to monitor. Could have just been a day off. Didn't seem too serious. We saw him working on the field. He was doing some side work, running and doing those kinds of things. Didn't look serious. I just imagine they're just trying to take it slow and do all those kinds of things. So he wasn't there. The other person that wasn't there was Azeez Al-Shaair, again, a linebacker who is ascending this year and should be ascending this year. We've got some good news. Groin. Thank you, groin. I think I said knee. Groin tightness. You're right. And then with Al-Shaair, he has the knee. But with him, it's not serious, even though it appeared it could have been serious up front. So looks like we dodged a bullet. Looks like he could be out maybe second preseason game, a couple weeks. We don't know. As long as he's ready for the year, we need it. We need Al-Shaair available, because with Al-Shaair, Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw could be one of the best linebacker units in the league this year. So got to get that boy healthy. I got a story about the Lance bomb. Again, we're talking quarterbacks at the end of the show. We are going to get through all the other good nuggets first, and then we do our deep dive on the quarterbacks. And you guys are seeing it all. You're seeing all the notes. You're seeing all the everything coming out of camp. So we're going to get down to it. So as you guys know, and before we keep going any further, feel free, if you're on Instagram, to come over to YouTube. If you're on Instagram, come over to YouTube. Why not? And if you come over to YouTube, hit like, hit subscribe, do all that good stuff. Let's get this video jacked up. But again, today, first day of pads. It was a beautiful day. Great day. The vibe, the energy, I would say, was better than it was yesterday when they were in pads. Something, again, that's standing out, that stood out to me yesterday, Ross Dwelley, again, I tweeted it. He looks like he's leveled up. The SF Niners is the channel on YouTube. Ross Dwelley looks like he's leveled up. He just looks like he's taken that next step in his development in regards to his body. His body looks bigger. He looks more built, and he keeps winning. He keeps winning. He keeps fighting. He looks like a legitimate tight end in the NFL. Ross Dwelley looks like a starter. Ross Dwelley looks like a starter. I got you, Focus. Good looking. So that's a true point. That is a true point. Video quality will be better on IG. Shout out AT&T. But Ross Dwelley looked good. Ross Dwelley continues to make plays. Sudfeld dropped a dime to Sermon in one-on-ones. It was a really nice route by Sermon, and it was probably like a 20-yard throw, and he just dumped it right over to Sermon. Sermon, beautiful catch in stride, runs it in for a touchdown. Sermon looks like a player. Sermon looks like a legit NFL running back. Again, he was showing some things in the pass game, being able to catch, showed the run after the catch ability. Elijah Mitchell had one of the nastiest routes on the day. He routed up Marcel Harris and really put it on Marcel Harris and Elijah, man. Again, I talked about it yesterday. This running back situation, the 49er fans should be extremely happy. 49er fans should be extremely happy. I would say Wayne Gallman didn't have as good of a day as he had yesterday. He did have a fumble, but for the most part, he played okay. But I felt like he had a better day yesterday. Elijah looked good, like I said. Mostert looked good. Sermon looked good. So the wave of running backs that the 49ers are going to be throwing at other teams, good luck. Good luck trying to stop that. I saw Arden Key with an extremely nice move on rookie Jalen Moore. Jalen Moore was playing left tackle. Essentially what Arden Key did was set up outside speed and then hit him with a nasty spin. If you've seen any of the clips I've ever posted of Brian Burns and his swim move, it gave me a little BB vibes. Again, not many people are like Brian Burns, but the swim was so smooth. It was so smooth that he just set up outside and came back under, and it was like, oh, Arden, he got home. He got home instantly again on the rookie Jalen Moore. The rookie offensive linemen have been struggling. I have to be like straight down the middle. The rookie offensive linemen haven't been executing as I would have hoped, but again, they're rookies. They got to acclimate and do all that stuff. So again, we're not saying that they're not going to catch up to speed, but as of right now, they're struggling a little bit. In one-on-ones, Zach Kerr had a really good rush up the interior. All that kind of stuff. Let's see. Mo Hurst got Brunskill on a one-on-one. Trent locked up, of course. Trent has locked up everyone that he's gone against. Trent has locked up against everyone he's gone against. Zettel, Zettel's kind of, he's smaller. He's a smaller guy. But he's showing the burst, the speed. He's showing that he's actually not bad. So I don't think Zettel makes the team, but I would love to have Zettel on the practice squad. I would love to see more out of Zettel. Again, in one of the one-on-one periods, Banks got pushed back quite a bit. So again, something that we have to keep an eye on. But the real fun began. So one-on-ones is it's tailored more towards D-line. It is. I would say the D linemen, based on what I saw, won that team period. Based on D line versus O line, just looked like the D line had some good moves. But again, like I said, it's definitely tailored toward defensive, at least in my opinion. But then once we got into team period, that's when everything started to just get me excited. I had adrenaline rush almost the entire practice based on what the offensive line was doing. Again, I watched offensive line primarily yesterday without pads and D line without pads, and I wanted to see the transition from day one to day two because when you put the pads on, especially in the trenches, everything changes. Everything changes, and that's exactly what we saw. Everything changed. Jordan tweeted it earlier, but Alex Mack was probably the MVP of today. Alex Mack, like Alex Mack got me so excited. I watched him every chance that I got. Every chance, every time Alex Mack was in, I was watching him because he was going up against Kinlaw. And so him and Kinlaw battled today. They battled, absolutely battled. And Mack was winning up front. First snap, first snap, Mack pancaked Javon Kinlaw. First snap of team period. Very first snap, pancaked Javon Kinlaw. The second play was another run play. Alex Mack goes against Javon Kinlaw again. This time, Javon Kinlaw won't let go of Mack, and he is pushed. He's got like his collar right here, and he's got it pushed all the way up. So Mack's like this basically, like Javon's like holding up Mack, and neither one would let go. Neither one would let go. Whistles are blowing. Everyone's got to come rip them apart. As a former center, as a former offensive lineman who's been in many of those types of scraps, my blood was, I was pumping. I was hyped. It got me so excited. It got me so excited because again, we're big on Kinlaw. We're big on Kinlaw. I think Kinlaw is going to have a fantastic year. I think he's going to take a huge step in his development. But to see what Mack did today against Kinlaw was amazing. It was so fun to watch, and he just kept going. Mack only lost a handful of snaps, maybe one or two. That was about it. We had Mack pancake DJ Jones. Man, Mack was literally on a mission. He tossed Kinlaw on one play. Like, and this is great for Kinlaw. This is great for Kinlaw. Again, iron sharpens iron. Offensive linemen, and defensive linemen make each other better all the time. That's how you get better is when you go up against defense. Like if I'm an offensive lineman, I get better by going against good defensive linemen because that then translates to anyone I face. So the fact that Kinlaw is getting to go against Mack and Mack right now is winning and showing like me and Jordan, we looked at each other. We're like, we are watching elite offensive line play. We are watching elite center play right now. We are watching elite center play right now. And we were just to the moon. Because as we know, think about last year. Think about a lot of the problems that we had last year with our offensive line and the rotation at center and just really difficult, putting people in a lot of really tough situations. You know, Brunskill, forcing him to play center when he had never played center before. That's asking a lot of someone. So now in this situation, I saw Mack, even in situations where, let's say, the defensive tackle got a little bit better of Lincoln or Brunskill, guess who was right there? Guess who was right there? Alex Mack. Alex Mack was in position to help anything that leaked under from what occurred to either Lincoln or Brunskill. And that's the difference. That is the difference, is that we have a guy in the middle of this offense that is elite at what he does. And we need an elite center. And so what we saw today was what our offense looks like with that. And I'm so excited. I'm so happy to see it. It was really, really a ton of fun. And you can see Alex is a dog, too. Alex don't play, man. Alex don't play. He's about it. He's about it. So probably my favorite thing. My favorite thing. The offensive line today. One, I would say the offensive line unit was probably the best unit on the field. Like Jordan tweeted earlier, uh, Alex Mack might be the best player on the entire field today. It was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. Um, Another thing that I really, really, really liked about Alex Mack was y'all are wild on IG, man. I swear. So, one of the things that Alex Mack did when he was at the line of scrimmage is you could see that they were already into a certain protection. They were already into a certain protection. The play was getting ready to go. And then Alex stopped it. Alex goes, "Whoa, whoa." And he's saying something, but he's motioning. It was motioning to his left. So what I saw from that was Alex read the defense and change the protection in real time. Again, something that was really hard to do with an inexperienced center last year. You can't do those kinds of things when you aren't confident and you aren't sure in your ability or sure that you're reading things right because you're still learning. Alex Mack knows exactly what he's doing. So what he did is he threw his arm up. He checked the protection. He basically stopped the play to check the protection. And he checked the protection. He was going to the left. And at a certain point, the offensive line is more worried about the offensive line doing what they're supposed to do than the defense knowing what they're going to do. So I would rather make sure that all my offensive linemen know we're going to the left. I don't care if the defense knows that. I need my offensive line to know that. So he throws it up. They all move to the left, and it was perfect pass protection because it was able to match the overloaded side. And those are the small nuances, the game within the game within the trenches that I just look at and I get happy. I get all warm and fuzzy on the inside because that is a difference maker. That alone to have a center to be able to stop the entire offense from moving and then change the protection to ensure it is right, that's huge. So again, one of my biggest takeaways, offensive line, and the biggest takeaway is Alex Mack. The 49ers have a center, ladies and gentlemen, and this center with this offensive line group, Lincoln Tomlinson and Dan Brunskill, Dan's doing a good job, man. Dan's doing a good job. Dan is winning this competition. Dan is beating out Aaron Banks right now. That is a fact. You guys know I love Aaron Banks. You guys know I love Dan. I kind of felt like Aaron Banks was going to come on and take Dan's job. That is not happening. Daniel Brunskill is outplaying Aaron Banks' second-round pick. So, again, at least up until what I've seen two practices. One with pads, one without. So far, Daniel Brunskill has been playing the best at the right guard position. Trent Williams, nothing is getting by Trent Williams. Absolutely nothing. Like, it's one of those situations where you don't have to watch him because he does his job every single play. Trent Williams, killing it. Mike McGlinchey, time to get on Mike McGlinchey. Mike McGlinchey is having one hell of a camp. So Mike McGlinchey came over to the sideline where we were standing, so I got to see Mike up close and personal. Oh, my God. What an intimidating human being. He looks so massive. He looks in a good way. He doesn't look sloppy at all. Again, remember he said he gained about 25 pounds of muscle. Remember that? He does not look fat. He looks woo! And that is translating to the field. More good reps. He put D Ford on his stomach today. I missed the rep, but I had Jordan and Jason catch me up to speed. And so essentially what had happened is again, when you have a speed rusher and you're pass blocking, your main thing is to not get beat with speed. So that means you're jumping out of your stance. That means you're trying to beat him with speed in your pass set. But sometimes speed rushers will counter that and make an inside move. And one of the things that Mike had struggled with last year was the ability to make that adjustment. When you're kick stepping backwards and the D lineman makes an interior, like an inside move, and then you have to go from backing up to crashing down with power. He did that today. He put D Ford on the ground. So, again, Mike McGlinchey, hell of a camp. You guys are going to get a little bit of a Trey Lance nugget here because it involves Mike McGlinchey. So you'll get it. And this was Trey Lance's very first team rep. So Trey Lance, shout it from the rooftops, guys. Trey Lance got his very first team rep today behind the first string offensive line. Again, that's what makes it a first team rep. Trey Lance has been playing with George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Juszczyk. Trey Lance has been playing with all the first team skill players. What you consider first team is what offensive unit you're playing behind, because the starting O-line, typically, as long as it's not a competition, they're always together, because again, you have to have that continuity up front. So that is the differentiator between first team. So with that being said, Trey Lance gets in for his first team rep, and I love the play. Absolutely love the play. It is a counter. I mistweeted it. It was my right, but it would have been Trey's and McGlinchey's left. So, McGlinchey is a right tackle, right? So essentially what it was a counter. And we don't run a lot of those. We honestly don't. We don't run a lot of counter. We don't run a ton of trap. They're power concepts. We're a zone scheme. So when it comes to upfront blocking, we don't run a lot of power concepts. And so counter, I would consider at least as a power concept. So essentially what had happened was that I'm going to try and draw it out real quick. So the guard kicks out, and then Mike McGlinchey comes and loops under and goes up the field and blocks. Everyone else is blocking down. I'll try and show you guys this. These guys probably do a little double. And then it was like, I didn't really see how Trey got it. I don't know if you can really see this or make it make sense, but this was Mike, right? So Mike is doing a counter. I believe the guard pulled and kicked out. I'm not sure. I was really far away. But what Mike did a counter. So he came all the way across the line and then turned upfield. What Trey did was I think he did a zone read action, but then he got onto Mike McGlinchey's ass and just stuck to him like glue. And one of the biggest takeaways from Trey Lance was that dude runs like a running back when he sees blockers, which is one of the most insane, which is a great trait to have for a quarterback who has the ability to run. He knows how to run behind blockers. That's huge. He's not just running in a straight line speed. He's just not athletic. He just, doesn't wiggle and get loose and juke people. He knows how to use his blockers. So what Trey Lance did was basically run behind McGlinchey, and he's looking, he's weaving, he spots the defender, sets up McGlinchey to make the block, and then cuts So the defender cuts into McGlinchey. McGlinchey picks up the block. Trey Lance goes. Could have been a touchdown. It could have been a situation. At that point, it's probably a 20-yard to 25-yard run up the middle. And it's a situation where Trey could break that tackle. Trey could have broke that tackle. So it could have gone either way. Someone could have tripped him up, or it could have been a tackle. But the matter of the fact was that it was something that I haven't seen a ton of from this 49ers team, and they executed it perfectly with a rookie cornerback named Trey Lance. And I don't know, might be time just to get into the quarterback, because it's exciting. It's really exciting to see. Yeah, we're gonna do it. All right, it's time, guys. It's time. You guys ready? Again, you know the vibes. Get a drink, relax, take a seat, lay down, get comfortable. Get comfortable, because we're going to talk about the quarterbacks right now. I know that's what everyone wants to talk about. So get comfy. Get comfy. We're going to talk. And I got a lot to say about that. So I'm not going to provide the context first. I'm just going to, again, I'm observing this from straight up. I'm watching football. I don't care about who is doing what, whose name is what. I'm pretending like these guys don't have names. I am watching football. That's it. I love both Jimmy and Trey, but when I'm evaluating, I can't care about your name. I can't care about who you are. I got to care about what you're doing, how you're executing, and how you go about your business. So that I want to preface that. Trey Lance was hands down the best quarterback on the field today. Hands down. Like, you again, if I had no idea what was going on, no idea what this team was, and I really, really believe that Trey Lance today was the best quarterback on the field. What he is doing with the zone read, what Kyle is doing with the zone read, again, Trey's the only one running zone read. Jimmy's not doing that. Jimmy, you're every time Trey gets out there and is getting on the field, I would say 75% of the plays have a zone read action built in, whether it's a designed run or just a zone read RPO. I would say 75% of the plays that we saw today out of Trey Lance had that built in. Whereas with Jimmy Garoppolo, it's not the same. It's not the same. And we're seeing how much success Trey is having with backup offensive line and all that kind of stuff. Again, I believe he's going up against backup defenders, but he's still it's insane. So one of the plays where you really get to understand the skill set, it was a naked boot. So he went to his right for the handoff, and then he boots around that way. So his hips are kind of off. His hips are not in the right direction. And I'm like, ooh, he's kind of got to get his hips around. Like, his hips aren't set up for a great throw. Again, he's moving full speed. If you guys remember when we did Justin Fields' study, I spent like 30 minutes on this type of play with Justin Fields. It was the play against Michigan. Justin's rolling out to the left and then flips his hips last second and fires a dime. We broke that down, and we did all kinds of different things with that play. We saw that out of Trey Lance today. Trey Lance was rolling to his left and just violently flipped his hips to get his hips into position, and then just delivered a freaking dart to River Craycraft coming across the middle, about a 15-yard gain. Again, it wasn't like one of those big, like, crazy ball that we're going to get talking about in a little bit, but it was just one of those small nuances where you're like, oh my God. Like that is very difficult for a human to do. So the fact that he just flipped his hips to get his body into position while moving at full speed to the left to deliver a strike, wow. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, that's different. Again, that's one of the reasons why we talked about Justin Fields in that regard, because it's different. That's hard to do. You have to be a certain type of athlete to be able to execute that. So as we go on, Trey is making good throws. Trey just keeps making good throws. He's not missing. He I think he went 14 of 15 today. I think that's what Cam said. Cam Inman charted. I believe he went 14 of 15 today. He didn't miss. He wasn't missing today. He was on point. He was absolutely on point and locked in. And if you guys watched yesterday, I was saying it looked even. Because I remember all the big hype out of Saturday was Trey Lance was far and away the better quarterback and all this kind of stuff. And so I was kind of halfway expecting to see that on my first day yesterday, and I didn't. I saw two guys, Jimmy and Trey, who played about at the same level. Again, we went on a big tangent about how, well, even if they're playing at the same level, that's not the greatest thing for Jimmy. Well, today, again, when the pads came on, Trey just lit it up. And again, what he does with his legs, the added dimension of the zone read, and being able to build in RPOs to zone reads, Kyle Shanahan and Trey Lance are going to destroy this league. They're going to destroy this league. If Trey Lance gets more than 11 starts, next year, he will be the offensive rookie of the year. I just don't see how he wouldn't be. Based on what I'm seeing today in practice, again, the rushing ability combined with what he can do physically with his arm, the ability he has to play exclusively from the pocket, but the ability to get out and run it is insane. It's insane. So I saw it today. I think I saw today what a lot of people were hyped about Saturday. I saw it today. And that's not to even put anything bad on Jimmy. I think Jimmy had a pretty good day. I think Jimmy hit some good passes. He was accurate for the most part. He had a play action to Kittle that was really sharp. Jimmy had a really sharp play action. Same thing, rolling to his left. Hit Kittle in stride on a dot. Great pass. Jimmy had another one to Ayuk that was pretty good. Jimmy to Sherfield. Trent Sherfield is a name that we need to pay attention to. Trent Sherfield is trending towards making this roster. He had a great day today. He caught the bomb from Trey Lance that we'll get into in a second. But from Jimmy's standpoint, Jimmy let one rip today. I didn't get to see Jimmy let one rip yesterday. He let one rip today. And it was intended for Brandon Ayuk with Jason Verrett in coverage. So I'm talking about this is prime. This is prime example of your 49ers best receiver in Brandon Ayuk going up one-on-one with the 49ers best defensive back or best cornerback in Jason Verrett. And Jimmy uncorked it, and he let it go. It was probably over 40 yards. And so this is where we start nitpicking. So it was thrown behind. It was thrown in the vicinity where Ayuk could have got it, but it was thrown behind where Ayuk had to adjust and try and come back to the ball. But Verrett clamped the beep out of Ayuk on that play, because when Ayuk tried to come back to the ball, he had to go through Verrett. He had to go through Verrett to come back to the ball, and Verrett said, "Nope, you're not going through me to get back to the ball." And Verrett put Ayuk on his back, and I was like, "Whoa!" But again, it's a difficult situation for Ayuk because Ayuk is running full speed down the field and then trying to change his momentum to come back to the ball. So it wasn't the best ball. It wasn't the best ball. And then, but that was the only big throw that we saw from Jimmy today. So let's talk about the bomb from Trey. Let's talk about the bomb. So I have a story. I have a story behind the bomb. I got a story behind the bomb. I only saw Trent catch it. And you want to know why? Because I had my ear pods in. Yo, my guy sat next to me, said, "What's up?" Shout out, man. Good looking. So I didn't get to see it because the story behind it was I have my AirPods in, and I was like, I want to take my AirPods out so I don't drop it and just, put them away. I dropped it. I dropped the AirPod trying to get out. We're standing on the top bleachers. My AirPod falls to the ground. Of course, I'm locked in. I'm like, all right, well, RIP AirPod for now, because I'm watching practice. I don't have time to go hunting for my AirPod. Shout out to one of the guys that was like diagonal from me. This guy, I think he saw me working, and he went and got it. So he literally went around the bleachers, went under it, went and got my AirPod, and came back and gave it to me. Shout out that guy. Random acts of kindness. Thank you. Wherever you are. I feel bad because I thanked him, but I didn't get to properly thank him because, again, I'm locked in. I'm watching. I'm charting. I'm tracking. So I'm just like, oh, thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much. But as I'm saying thank you, I hear, oh, and I'm like, what's happening? And I look over and I see Trent catch this bomb right in front of us. And like I said, they're like 40, 50 yards that way. And I see Trent Sherfield just dime right into the bucket. No adjustment, nothing. Trent brings it down, catch. The whole place goes insane. So, for context, Cam Inman, I was driving home. 49ers beat reporter Cam Inman was on 95.7 The Game talking about the throw. Cam Inman, I believe, has been covering the 49ers for 23 years, somewhere around there. He's been doing this for a long time. He came on the radio today and said that was the best throw he had ever seen on that practice field. I trust Cam. I don't think Cam would go out of his way to say something like that just to say something. I don't think he would do that. He's not that kind of person. He's very, very objective with his reporting. So when Cam Inman gets on the radio and says, you see Trey Lance roll out to his left and at full speed uncork a 50-yard pass, hitting his wide receiver in stride in the bucket, he said it was the best throw he'd ever seen on that field. And I think that's the context that it deserves. Unfortunately, I missed it. I missed it because my AirPod fell out, and the homie got it for me. Shout out the homie. Appreciate you. Wherever you are, I appreciate you. But I didn't see it. I just saw the catch. But again, the context of the catch happened right in front of me, and Trey Lance is 50 yards down the field. So It was insane. I would anticipate that the 49ers got to show that play. They got to show that play. That play was insane. So I hope they show it because I really want to see it. But again, that's what we're seeing out of Trey. We're seeing him taking shots. We're him seeing doing things on the move while throwing. We're seeing him make good throws, proper reads with good timing in the pocket. And we're also seeing his ability to be able to execute the zone read game, which AKA is the new style of quarterback in the NFL. Again, the whole reason why we didn't like Mac Jones. Never Mac Jones. Mac Jones can't run the zone read. He can't do that. Trey Lance can. And Trey Lance, trust me, this offense is not tailored. This offense is not tailored to either one of them. That's a lie. Trey Lance is having an offense tailored to him, but that means he's having to learn the existing offense plus more. So the whole thing with Trey Lance in his iPad doing all that kind of stuff, Trey Lance is not struggling with the playbook at all. And you're seeing that. You're seeing that in person. And he is wow. Today was wow. Today was a wild day from Trey Lance. And I don't want to make a big deal about it. I really don't, but for what it's worth, Jimmy Garoppolo stayed after practice today and was throwing deep balls. That's all he was doing. 50 yards, 60 yards, just taking it back, letting it rip. Stayed after practice, just throwing deep balls. And I'm like, oh. I've been to quite a few training camp practices, obviously none in 2020. Went to a bunch in 2019. I never noticed that. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. And then I saw Jimmy running sprints by himself. And I'm just like, oh, I think Jimmy feels it. And I feel for Jimmy. Because, again, I like Jimmy, man. I can't imagine what Jimmy's going through being in this situation. I can't fathom it. You need an amazing amount of mental strength and fortitude and just confidence in yourself to be able to go through what Jimmy has gone through the last 7 months and what he's going through right now. Like, what I saw today is a situation that doesn't matter. Like, your best friend on the team could be Jimmy Garoppolo, but you still can't deny that Trey Lance was the best quarterback on the field today. And that's the hardest part, because that's when it's like, that's your boy. That's your guy. You want him to be successful. I want him to be successful. I want Jimmy to be successful. I want Jimmy to be successful, whether it's here or another team. I don't care. I have no ill will against Jimmy. Jimmy's gotten a really bad rap the last year or so. But again, like I said at the beginning, I'm watching football. I'm just trying to watch football. I'm not trying to take in the context of the name. I'm not trying to take into the context of the last 8 months. I'm not trying to do any of that. I just wanted to watch football. And based on what we saw today, Trey Lance was doing very good things. Again, it's not like Jimmy was bad. Jimmy still had a pretty good practice. He was pretty accurate for the most part. Played well from the pocket for the most part. He did some good things while doing play action and being on the boot. So again, it's not like Jimmy had a bad practice and Trey had a good practice. It's just Trey had a better practice. And one of the things that we talked about yesterday, it's like of them looking even. We were like, well, they can't be even because Jimmy's a veteran and Trey Lance is in his 5th practice. They can't look even. Jimmy has to be far and away the better quarterback for him to maintain this job. So today, it just felt like all the juice was on Trey. It just felt like Trey had all of it. And man, it's just when you start thinking about again like who he like Jimmy and who he is as a person and all that kind of stuff, it's like it's tough to talk about because again, I like Jimmy a lot. But and I know Jimmy's fighting for his life right now. He's fighting for his career. He's fighting for all of that stuff and it's tough, man. It's tough when a guy comes in and like I said, even Jimmy didn't have a bad practice. That's what I'm saying. It's just Trey had an insane practice. And so again, Kyle's not going to say there's quarterback competition. I don't think he will say that. I don't think he'll admit it. But as I've said all along, I have not backed off. This job will be officially won in preseason. Because I don't think Kyle Shanahan is going to put the pressure of anointing Trey Lance QB1. You beat out Jimmy because, again, there's more pressure that comes along with that. As long as Trey is just sitting behind Jimmy Garoppolo, the only pressure that exists right now is on Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan. So, yeah, keep Trey with the second team, keep doing all of that. And honestly, I really believe that's how we see it. Is oh man, it sucks. I'm excited on one hand, and I feel for my guy on the other hand. Like it's a difficult situation. There's a lot of feelings, but again, I think Kyle's going to continue with this. Again, today was the first time they split reps. It was our first time seeing Trey Lance run with the ones. And when he ran with the ones, guess what they ran? It was like a QB designed run. I'm pretty positive it was a QB power. I can't recall if there was any zone read action, but I'm pretty damn positive it was a QB power behind basically a quarterback counter with Mike McGlinchey leading as the lead blocker. So that was his first play. First play in with the ones, it was a designed quarterback run. They're not running designed quarterback runs with Jimmy. Like, that's the hard part is they are doing things with Trey Lance that Jimmy is not doing. Right now, Trey Lance is doing more than Jimmy is doing. The addition of the zone read puts more onto Trey's plate. It puts more onto his plate. He has to do more things as a result of now having to do zone read action, whether it's a zone read RPO or straight zone read. That's more on Trey. And Trey is not stuttering at all. So, wow, today was an eye-opener. Again, first day of pads. Today was an eye-opener. Someone asked about wide receivers. Dude, Craycraft looks good. A Richie, pipe down, my guy. Take a break. But one of the things that, dang, I need my chat police back on Instagram. I need the chat police back on Instagram. I can't do it. I get distracted from what I was saying. Someone get the chat police in here. But wide receivers. We were talking about wide receivers. So with the wide receivers, Craycraft looks good, man. Craycraft looks good. I'm not lying. I'm a little biased, but he looks good. He does. He really does. Again, those traits that we talked about. Hashtag click gang. Those traits that we talked about that River has, they're showing up. They're showing up in one-on-ones. They're showing up in team. He's just not getting a ton of reps right now. He's just not getting a ton of reps. But when he's getting his reps, I think he's making the most of them. So really like Craycraft. Again, one of his biggest. Oh, I just realized I haven't seen Juwan Jennings the last 2 days. Why did I just realize that? Wow, I just realized that. I haven't seen Juwan Jennings the last 2 days at all on the field. Maybe that completely just went right over my head. And maybe that was already I just realized that. But again, one of the things that I took away, Trent Sherfield. Trent Sherfield's a player. Oh, he's on the COVID list. That's right. I was wondering why I wasn't available. But so with like Juwan Jennings out, again, guys like Trent Sherfield are showing up. Trent Sherfield had a day. Trent Sherfield's playing great. Brandon Ayuk looks good for the most part. Sherfield looks good. Saw some stuff from Craycraft. Who else? I'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's see. So a lot of Trent Sherfield today. A lot of Trent Sherfield today. Yeah, I mean the other receiver showed up, but there was a lot of Trent Sherfield today. Who played primarily out of the slot. So see you guys asking about Jalen Hurd. So Jalen Hurd was on the field. On team periods, he was coming out with the ones. So Jalen Hurd was out there with the ones. And yeah. So, but he didn't, I don't think he made any catches, or I don't believe he was targeted. So, but Hurd was out there. Hurd was absolutely out there. And he was running with the ones in team period. So that's good. He's still getting run. Richie James, who was it? Trey, I believe it was Trey, did try to hit Richie James on a deep ball down the left sideline. I forget who exactly was in coverage. It looked like a really good ball when it came out of his hands, and it looked like it was really good. And what was going on with where it was going to land, but I think it landed out of bounds. It landed out of bounds, so technically not a great pass because you got to give your guys an opportunity. So that wasn't a great pass by Trey. It looked pretty. It looked beautiful. But it went out of bounds, and that was to Richie James, and would have loved to see Richie get an opportunity to catch that. But for the most part, it's Ayuk, Kittle, Trent Sherfield today added into the mix as the most targeted wide receivers. I talked about Dwelly already. Dwelly looks fantastic. So Ambry Thomas is struggling a little bit. Third-round rookie cornerback. I would say so far, probably Diamador is looking a little bit better than him so far, but it's still early. Still needs some time to acclimate and all that kind of stuff. Sanu. Yeah, Sanu got some run, but he wasn't too heavily involved. Of course, he caught some passes in team period, but he wasn't super targeted. Like I said, I would say out of the slot, which I think Sanu would be a great big slot. Craycraft will be a good slot. Trent Sherfield kind of seems like he might have a lock on that. Kind of might have a lock on that. Let's see. What were the other things that we saw today? On that deep pass to Richie that Trey missed. Demo was in coverage, and it was pretty good coverage. Pretty good coverage. Yeah. And although the 49ers offensive line was really dominating the first portion of team period, they were able to, the D line was able to pick it back up towards the second part of the team period. They were generating sacks. So it was a great balance. It was a great balance. They were having pressure on the interior. They got home a couple times from the outside. So it was a good mix. You want to see that. You don't want to see one unit just get completely dominated. So what I really liked was seeing the O-line kind of dominate up front and then it kind of shift. So yeah, for the most part, everything was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was a good practice, man. It was really fun. It was great to be out there. If we want to talk about some like lower level competition that might not be as in the spotlight, um, a competition that I think I've been watching the last 2 days is the backup center position. Of course, you know my guy Dakota Shepley. Been watching him, and then he's been going up against I think it's Jake Brendel. I'm not positive if I'm saying his name right or correctly. Um, but I would say Dakota had a better practice than he did today. So, and they're competing for the backup center role. So that's something to keep an eye on. I liked what I saw out of Dakota today. I think in back-to-back plays, he was able to get to the second level really nicely, took the correct angle, got his body on the guy, and kicked him out of the hole, and running back ran right off his butt. And then I think it was like the next, he is a pass set play, and he did his job. So liked what I saw out of him. Alfredo got one play that I noticed, and it was a run action pass set. So it's to appear as if you're running, but you don't gain depth off the line of scrimmage. It was decent. It was good. But again, he's going to need some seasoning. I think Alfredo could be a guy, but again, football is truly a game of development, and so I would say give Alfredo a year before we start expecting, putting expectation on him. Hockett, the backup fullback, he's good, dude. I like him as a receiver out of the backfield. He's good. If Juszczyk wasn't on this team, then yeah, he would be playing. Yeah, yeah. So Hockett looks good. Someone asked about Elijah Mitchell. He looked really good. He juked the crap out of someone. He's been having a great camp. So like I said, the 49ers running backs are stock up on the 49ers running backs and fullbacks. Juszczyk looks good. Dude, I hope we use Juszczyk more as a receiver this year. I do. He's really good. He's looking really good. His routes are looking really good. So, like I said, I would say Gallman is the only one who kind of had a rough day. He had a fumble. Didn't really do a ton with the opportunities he had today. So he'll be someone I'll be looking for tomorrow for a bounce back. I'll be looking at Aaron Banks tomorrow for a bounce back. I'll be looking at Ambry Thomas tomorrow for a bounce back. Let's see. Who else? Griffin had a good rep today. He's a linebacker, number 53. He had a nice pop on someone. Like that a lot. As you can see, I basically studying the offense, and whatever comes with that from the defense is kind of what I'm trying to pick up. But I'm 100% locked in on offense. I'm watching O-line. I'm watching the centers. I'm watching guards, tackles. And then when Trey's in, I'm watching Trey and the receivers. So O-line today, 1. Trey won. Running backs did a great job. Wide receivers, for the most part, did a great job. Again, Trent Sherfield had a really nice play. Really nice play. Jimmy was rolling out, I believe, to his right. Is either Trey or Jimmy. I can't remember. I'm not seeing it on my notes yet. But one of the quarterbacks was rolling out to his right, and the throw was low and away while Trent was going that way. So it was kind of on his back hip. And Trent made a really solid adjustment on the ball to sit it down after running full speed to catch it. I was pretty impressed. So Trent Sherfield stock up, had a good day. Again, everything Craycraft is doing, I like. He just is not getting a ton of opportunities. Hopefully, he'll get a couple more opportunities. Richie hasn't been standing out. I know what Richie's capable of, so it's not like I'm scouting Richie, but I'm just not seeing him targeted very often. Jalen Hurd, he was playing, wasn't targeted much. Again, this running back room is great. Jalen Hurd looked okay. He didn't get targeted from my understanding. I live about 45 minutes away from the stadium. I'm in the East Bay. But yeah, I think one of the biggest takeaways is the depth on this team. I think we've been top heavy in previous years. I know we've had good depth. We've had to survive with good depth. You look at 2019. You look at both Staley and McGlinchey going down, and then, of course, School and Brunskill stepping up. We've seen it on the defensive line as well, the secondary. We've been through this where we've had to have depth step up. But I'm talking about this is a deep roster. This is a deep, deep roster. And there's a lot of good guys. And there's a lot of good guys competing right now. Kinlaw could have done better today. But like I said, he's going up against Alex Mack, and Alex Mack showed that he's for real. Alex Mack showed that, like, okay, if you're going to play like that, Alex Mack, we're talking about all-pro center or Pro Bowl center Alex Mack. That's what we're talking about. So, and again, it's practice. We're talking about practice. Everything's taken with a grain of salt, but at the same time, he's going up against Kinlaw. And we know how good Kinlaw is, and we know what Kinlaw should be. So I like it because iron sharpens iron. If Mack is giving Kinlaw some work, that's only going to motivate Kinlaw to get better. And that is a good problem to have. So again, like I said, first rep Kinlaw first rep of team period. Mack pancakes Kinlaw. Second rep of team period, Mack and Kinlaw lock up and have to be separated because they won't let each other go. Because Kinlaw was pissed that he got worked by Mack. And Mack planted him. And that's why I love football. That's why football is fantastic. Because these boys were going back at it all practice, all day. Kinlaw came back at the end of practice and got Mack. So Kinlaw got maybe the last word, but that's what you want to see. You want to see these boys competing. You want to see it. So it was really fun. Jordan Matthews at tight end. He's looked okay. For the most part. But yeah, today was a fun day. Today was fun, and so I'm excited to get back tomorrow. So, again, the truest measure of a football player and his talent is how consistent he can be. So, okay, Trey had a good practice today. Let's follow it up with a better practice. All right? So, let's see how these guys react. I've seen the guys who had good days today and the guys who maybe didn't have so good of days today. Now let's see how they react to that. Let's see how they come back and fight through that. Maybe Kinlaw comes out first play of team period and puts Mack on his back. Let's see it. Maybe Aaron Banks comes out and is playing a little more stout. Let's see that kind of stuff. Again, we got battles happening deep in the depth chart. Dakota Shepley, let's see you take the next step forward. The ability's there. Take the next step, win that job. So we got battles all over the place. Again, war of attrition at cornerback right now. War of attrition. We don't have a lot of corners because they're down. So we'll see. Swerving 7, I'm about done. If you want to watch this entire episode in which I got done going in depth into the quarterbacks and everything, you can watch this on YouTube. It'll be live here pretty soon. So go back and you can watch that. We went pretty deep into what the quarterbacks did today. So again, top 3 wide receivers to me, at least top 3 wide receivers today were Ayuk, Trent Sherfield, and would have to probably have to give it to Sanu. Probably. He didn't make a ton of plays today either, but there's a lot of Trent Sherfield today. A lot of Trent Sherfield. We got some River Craycraft today. So, and a lot of Ayuk. A lot of Ayuk today. We got some Kittle today. So, Greenlaw had a good. Kinlaw busted through the interior, completely destroyed a play. Really solid. I don't know. I guess it was a blitz by Greenlaw. Trent Williams pancaked Javon Kinlaw. I saw that one. That one was mighty fine. That one was mighty fine. I'm not gonna lie. Again, I'm a sucker for pancakes. I'm biased towards the offensive line, 100%. 100%. I just am. It's just how it is. I still love Kinlaw, but Trent ragdoll Kinlaw. And again, I think people, when they hear that, they're like, oh no, Trent or like Kinlaw, what's happening? Alex Mack is probably the best center of the last generation, and Trent Williams is probably the best left tackle of this last decade. So important to put into context. Alex Mack, really good. Trent Williams, really good. The best part, it's only going to make Kinlaw better. Only going to make Kinlaw better. Kinlaw is going to have to work through that. Talanoa is not getting a ton of run, at least that I notice. Again, I'm focused on O-line, D-line for the most part, specifically the O-line. But Talanoa, and what I've seen in positional drills and his ability, he looks good. He really does. You can see he has the instincts, and he has the reaction, and he has the agility to be able to get in and get out. So I really, really like what I'm seeing there. So Talanoa looks like a player. He really does. So it's going to be really exciting to see what happens. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm freaking excited, man. Today was so fun. Today was a vibe. Today I was in heaven. Like literally football heaven today was where Brad was at. I just was I belong around football, if you haven't noticed. That's where I envision myself being. Like, that's why I do this account. That's why we do all of this. Football is a genuine passion of mine. I love football. I love the sport. I love the sport of football. I don't just love the Niners. I love the sport of football. I love the nuance. I love the small intricacies. I love the technique because I know how much work goes into it. So I was a kid in a candy store today. Just a kid in a candy store today. Just watching the pads, watching these guys go. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Appreciate you, Greg. Tight end group. I love the tight end group. I really do. And Peterson, I keep saying this. Um, I've already said it multiple times. Ross Dwelley has leveled up. Ross Dwelley could be a starter, I think, on pretty much any team in the NFL right now. That's what I'm envisioning out of Ross Dwelley. I made the comparison to Robert Tonyan and his explosion with Green Bay last year because I had seen him work with Kittle for the last couple years. Well, Dwelley has taken that same kind of maturation. I think Dwelley could be a starting. Again, I know I see a lot of people because Dwelley's Grant's guy, right? And Grant's been hyping him up for years. Well, Dwelley's finally caught up to that hype. I think now the hype is worthy. Dwelley looks fantastic. Fantastic. He really does. Peterson looks really good. I like Peterson a lot. Again, Peterson reminds me of Dwelley. He reminds me of Dwelley again when Dwelley was coming in out of San Diego University. I think it's D1 AA. He was a skinny, gangly tight end, right? And it's kind of what Josh Peterson is. But Josh Peterson is a good wide receiver, and he has good hands. He has really good hands. And he's shown that to me now 2 days in a row. So Peterson, to me, is the type of guy that you stash on the practice squad for a year and develop. I don't think he's ready to play now. He might not even be ready to play in 2 years. But he's that type. He's one of those guys that you stick on the practice squad and you see what he turns into and you see what he matures into. And I would not be shocked if I'm sitting here in training camp 2 years from now, we're doing a stream 2 years from now. And I'm like, hey guys, remember what I said about Josh Peterson 2 years ago about how he was a player that if they stash him on the practice squad and they let him develop and grow and mature, he could turn into a player. Hey, that could happen 2 years from now. We could be looking back on this exact conversation. But like I said, I like what I see out of Peterson so far. Charlie Warner, I haven't seen a ton. He had a good block today. I saw him make a good block today, but haven't seen him get any targets or anything like that in team period. So it's a Ross and George show right now for sure. Did I see the Jimmy deep ball he threw to the receiver? I did see the Jimmy deep ball. I did see it. It was to Brandon Ayuk, and it was underthrown, and it actually got Brandon Ayuk slammed on the ground because Ayuk tried to fight back for the ball, and Verrett said, "You're not going back to that ball," and just basically planted Ayuk on his back. So trying to put myself in Brandon Ayuk's shoes, it wasn't a ball that gave Brandon Ayuk an opportunity to win. So that's the thing that I think you're trying to evaluate is, all right, you can throw up the ball, but are you throwing it to a place that gives it's called a 50-50 ball for a reason. And I would say that pass that Jimmy threw was like an 80-20 ball in Ayuk's favor, 80% towards Verrett and 20% towards Brandon Ayuk. It wasn't a catchable pass. If he were to catch it, like I said, Ayuk would have had to completely stop his momentum and come back to it. And Verrett didn't allow that. He just clamped him and put him on his back. So that's tough. You can't be throwing 80-20 balls. You got to be at least throwing 50-50 balls. Can't be throwing 80-20 balls. Or you can't be, even Trey, on the other hand, you can't throw the ball out of bounds. That's one of the things that you'll hear coaches say all the time. Like, give your guy an opportunity. You throwing the ball out of bounds doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything for us. Keep the ball in bounds. Give the guy an opportunity. So it goes both ways. I don't want to make it seem like I'm coming down hard on Jimmy. It goes both ways. They dropped the dime on Insta. A perfect time for me to get off because I got to go see that pass. I'm done here. If you guys are just hopping on Instagram and want to watch this whole thing, it'll be on YouTube right after this. So let's go all take a look at the 49ers dime from Trey Lance because I want to see it. Let's go take a look. I appreciate you guys hopping on. And as always, watching. If you are on YouTube, please like and subscribe. You'd be doing me a huge favor. Shout out the fam on Instagram. You know the vibes. I don't got to say nothing to you. You guys already know the deal. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back at practice tomorrow. We'll see practice again. We'll see comparison between the 3 days, and we'll see how everything stacks. So I'll be back again on site tomorrow. We'll do the same thing, and we'll do the whole breakdown, all the vibes, all the good stuff. A lot of fun today. Really excited about tomorrow. Let's get after it. If you're a 49er fan, get excited. Get excited because doesn't matter who the quarterback is, doesn't matter who the running back is, doesn't matter. This team is built well. We might have a little holes in a couple areas, but for the most part, I really like it. I really like it. Shout out Niners Worldwide, who's subbed like a sandwich. I appreciate that. I like that. I like that tone. I like that little bar you got. So we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll do it again. And we're out of Instagram. All right, fam. Appreciate you all.